Yes, guys, welcome back on the channel. Today we're covering Hagler fighting Leonard. So this is a very controversial fight. Let me just get right into it and tell you that I'm trying to score this fight myself. It's going to be a bit tricky for you to really understand what I mean with scoring because this is going to be a highlight video. I'm going to point out the technical details on the technical greatness of Hagler and Leonard. So it ain't going to be all complete rounds. So if you want to score the fight yourself, feel free to do it. This is not going to be the video if you want to score the fight yourself. This is going to be the video if you want to really dive deep into the technical masterclass with both boxers and hear my opinion on how I would score the fight. Alright, as usual, I'm just going to start with the video. This is just a classic Leonard performance. Leonard is really starting the fight the way he would fight Duran. So Hagler is the one pressing him and Leonard is the one avoiding it with lateral movement. Catching Leonard is a really tricky thing because Leonard has great lateral movement. He would use his jab to the head and body and he would stick and move, which basically means he's using lateral movement, circling to his left or his right side. And then he would stop moving at one point and then just punch and then instantly get back to moving. So what does that mean? Is he's giving you a hard time to time him. It's hard to time Leonard because of his lateral movement. And also, Leonard is moving laterally in circles around his opponent. Therefore, his opponent can't punch punches with power. He can't shoot shots with power. If you turn, you don't plant your feet. You're turning them. Therefore, you can't generate any power off the floor. Now, enough said. Let me just go over the first good detail. And there it was. Great defense and counter by Hagler. See how Hagler is in an orthodox stance. He catches Leonard's right hand with a cross guard. And then he slips to the inside of the hook and counters it with a body shot. Show the clip again. See how Hagler in an orthodox stance catches Leonard backhand with his rear hand. Now he slips to the inside of the hook and counters it with a body shot. Great elite counter. He also had his rear hand in place to catch Leonard's counter hook. So that was just great defense. That's a good counter by Hagler. Off to the next good detail. Good feint there by Leonard. That is something that I want to replay. Leonard would start this round throwing jabs to the body. There is a feint to the body this time. So he's switching up actually punching and feinting. Why is that so effective? Leonard can now gather information on how Hagler likes to react to his jab. He sees that Hagler liked to catch that jab with his backhand. So that can mean that he's trying to now feint it and come over the top of a big lead hook. That's just a quick side note. If you've got someone that catches the jab to the body with his lead hand, you can come over the top with an overhand. And if he catches it with his rear hand, you can come over the top with a lead hook. We're going to see Leonard do that later in the fight. But now let me just go over another good detail in round one. This happened early in the round, but I just want to point this out. Leonard lands a good jab here, and now he doesn't give Hagler the opportunity to counter. He doesn't give him the opportunity to counter. He's moving out of range and starts circling Hagler. Why do I point this out so much? This is Leonard's way of how to figure... This is how Leonard figures his opponents out. He does this every fight, okay? He sees how their opponent likes to react to his jab by jabbing and then moving. He's not giving them the opportunity to counter early on in the fight. He's moving after he throws his jab. He's very defensively responsible. He moves back and then he circles out. Off to round two. Start of the second round, still early in the fight. Leonard uses a lot of lateral movement because he feels like he didn't figure Hagler out yet. So good jab there, good counter jab. Let me go in detail. We have Hagler shooting a lead backhand in the orthodox stance. Leonard moves back and just shoots a counter jab. You hear many coaches say, be patient. You're going to catch him coming in. You're going to catch him. Oh, good hook there. You're going to catch him coming in. That's exactly what Leonard did. He pulled back and caught Hagler coming in with a nice jab. So the jab is the best counter punch in boxing. You can counter every punch in boxing with a jab. If it's timed right. Okay? If it's timed right. And now off to the next good detail. Good offense from Leonard. Shoots a jab, slips to the outside and shoots a body shot. That slip to the outside is done proactively in case Hagler shoots his own jab back. So Leonard isn't just throwing a jab and a rear hook to the body. He is jabbing, then slipping to the outside to proactively avoid the counter. And then he shoots the rear hook to the body, instantly moving back to avoid the check hook, which is just great offense by Leonard, being very defensively responsible. Good sequence by both fighters there. Leonard shoots a jab. Hagler tries to counter it with a right hand over the top, but then Leonard bends over his lead leg, bends at the waist over his lead leg and turns Hagler. I'm just going to replay this clip because this is just a very good sequence by both fighters. Hagler tries to counter Leonard's jab here and time it with a right hand over the top. There it is. Leonard just bends at the waist over his lead leg and then he turns Hagler, which is just a beautiful thing to do. Leonard tries to anticipate Hagler's jab here and punish it with a big hook after slipping to the inside, but Hagler throws the 1-2 and hits Leonard. So this is why it needs to be well timed, this kind of counter, because if he decides to throw the 1-2 and not just a jab, your inside slip might get punished real bad by the opponent's right hand. Here is a great counter by Leonard, but he actually lost the exchange. So he slips Hagler's right hand, counters it with a lead shot to the body, rear hook to the body, and then he tries to add up another lead hook. But Hagler actually checks Leonard's rear hook to the body with his own lead hook to the head. And now if you pay close attention to Hagler's lead hook, he actually hits Leonard and Leonard doesn't hit him. So Hagler wins the exchange. At least the exchange of both lead hooks to the head. And now off to round 3. Now Leonard is real careful again. He really avoids Hagler so much. Why does he do that? Look at Hagler's stance. He's southpaw. He's not orthodox right now. He's fighting in southpaw. So he ended round 2 in an orthodox stance. And now he comes at Leonard in a southpaw stance. So this alone is going to give 99.9% of the fighters on the planet insane issues. That is why Marvelous Marvin Hagler is one of the trickiest opponents you're ever going to find. His counterpunching in both stances is so lethal. The common boxing enjoyer has no idea how much time and mental commitment you need to invest to have this form of punching mechanics, and especially counterpunching and defense in both stances. So Hagler is a picture book perfect complete fighter. There is no question about it. And he's shown that in this fight. So let me just stop talking and go after the next good detail in round 3. Good defense against the overhand here. Barely hit him. All right, off to the next good detail. Great trapping and combination punching. Leonard throws the lead backhand against the southpaw, which is a good thing, but he only taps it to land the lead hook to the body, lead hook to the head. Beautiful combination by Leonard. Why did I say trapping? He only shoots the lead backhand here because he tries to set up the liver shot and the lead hook to the head. That's what he tries to do. But apart from that, okay, the lead backhand, just the lead backhand, using your backhand as a jab, basically, is a great thing against the opposite stance. That's a great shot. If you listen, bro, reaction time is slower than action time, especially if you understand that the closest distance from point 1 to point 2 is a straight line. So the lead backhand straight down the pipe is a great offense against the opponent's stance. It's real good to do that. Real good to just let it go. Just let your backhand go if you fight the opposite stance. Look at Leonard's lead hand. He uses his lead hand to slap down Hagler's jab, and he counters it with a rear hook to the body and a lead hook to the head. Then he jumps out because he anticipates Hagler's check hook. Now off to round 4. So just look at this elite counter by Hagler. He slips to his own right side, to his outside, and then he counters then a jab with a leaping lead hook. That's the southpaw hook. So I've seen sparring sessions get cancelled because fighters couldn't handle that counter. If you're a southpaw fighter and you're fighting an orthodox fighter, and vice versa, you can slip to the outside and shoot your big leaping lead hook over the opponent's jab, just the way Hagler did there. That's a great counter. And now again, just see how Leonard effortlessly just bends at the waist and ducks down to avoid Hagler's big punches to the head. Great defense, just bending at the waist. Something that's barely taught nowadays. Old school fighters used to rely on this a lot, and I do as well. I love to this is what I practice right now in my training. Old school bobbing and weaving, ducking and rolling. I used an instructional video from Tommy and Keller, just so I really know that what I'm doing in training is right. But I just feel so safe doing it. Like bending at the waist, I feel like takes away just everything, pretty much. Alright, bro, let me continue the video. I just recovered. I was feeling hella sick, bro. This upload is probably gonna be very late, but I'm just gonna continue with the video with the good details, and yeah, off to the next good detail. So Hagler walks Leonard into the ropes, effortlessly switches from orthodox to southpaw, and now Leonard is going to use a combination of head movement and footwork to pivot out the ropes. And just seconds later, Leonard does the same thing. So he bends at the waist and now he pivots out to his rear side. That is a great move. So I'm just going to put this in the comment section with a timestamp, because if you're in the corner or if you just want to evade your opponent's offensive arsenal, bending at the waist and then pivoting out on your rear side like that, that's an elite way to evade your opponent's aggression. And to make it work like Sugar Ray Leonard, you also need the basic fundamentals on the boxing stance that Leonard uses with the weight on the rear leg. If you've seen that body shot, I'll never replay that. So is this a technical detail? Not really. But Leonard's showboating is hilarious. Damn, that kind of looked like a low blow. Now, after just really telling you something, I want to go over to the next round. But Hagler, the The second Hagler switches to southpaw, right? So Hagler can do both. He can fight you orthodox with his lead hand being the left hand, and he can fight you southpaw with a lead hand being the right hand. And Hagler just likes to, when he's fighting the opposite stance, so when he's in the southpaw stance and his opponent is in the orthodox stance, he is therefore having his right hand as the lead hand. He just likes to let his backhand go. That's what Hagler does. Hagler likes to shoot his backhand as just lead backhands. That's what he likes to do. Just let the backhand go. And that's one thing you can learn from Marvin Hagler. Just if you're fighting the opposite stance, let your backhand go. Lead with your backhand, straight down the pipe, just shoot it. You don't even have to prepare it with the jab all the time. You can just let it go. That's what Hagler does. I was just speaking about it. Look what Hagler does here. Hagler just lets the backhand go, straight down the pipe. Bow! And just lets it fly. That's exactly what he does there. So that's something you can learn of Hagler. I was just speaking about it and he just done it there. And now let me stop speaking about this important detail and just continue with good details in this round 5. Look at Leonard's front foot here. Front foot, he steps it outside of Hagler's front foot. So that is it's called lead foot dominance. It basically gives you a better angle to land the backhand, the straight backhand. If you move your lead foot to the outside of the southpaw's opponent's lead foot, or vice versa, if you're fighting the opposite stance, you want to move your lead foot outside of the opponent's lead foot to get a better angle for your straight backhand. That's what Leonard done there, and that's how he landed a good one too. Time to point out defensive responsibility. Throws the right hand, dips down to his lead side to avoid the counter backhand. That's just something that it's called defensive responsibility. If there's one thing that you can learn, he done it again there. If there is one thing you can learn of these all-time greats, they don't wait for the receive, right? They don't stand there after they punch. They move after they punch, and they don't do it sometimes. They do it all the time. They do it, and the second they don't do it, they get punished. They get countered. You don't punch and then you wait for the receive. You punch and you're defensively responsible. And a good way to be defensively responsible after throwing the backhand is to dip down over to your lead side. That's what Leonard done there. Here Leonard shows a good display of how to land the lead hook. Rear hand to the body, lead hand to the body, lead hand to the head. So rear body hook, lead body shot, and then when you land the lead body shot, regardless if you landed on the guard or to the body, it doesn't matter if you landed or not, you're still going to chain it with a hook upstairs. Good combination punching by Leonard. Hagler tries to walk Leonard down in the southpaw stance. Leonard lands a short backhand and just weaves out afterwards. I'm going to replay the clip. That's defensive responsibility. Hagler in the southpaw stance catches Leonard's rear hook to the body and counters it with a straight backhand. And then he chains that with another 2 shots. They really hurt Leonard. Maybe hurt isn't the right thing to say, but they defo landed clean. And they put Leonard into the ropes. After the next and last good good uppercut there. Let me replay that. Hagler in an orthodox stance chains 2 lead hooks to the head with a rare uppercut that lands flush. Great combination punching. That's one of the best combinations you can use on the inside. You use the lead hook to get the guard to the outside, and then you land the uppercut from below. And you shoot it down the middle, right? Because the hook is coming from an outside trajectory around the guard. And it's going to move the glove to the side of the face. So you have a pathway for the uppercut down the middle. Great combination punching by Hagler. And do you see? Hagler just switches his stuff. Bro, that's crazy. That is the reason why Leonard is having such a hard time with Hagler. And that's the reason Leonard is really trying his best to keep him off him. Because Hagler, people have no idea how difficult it is to fight someone that can effortlessly switch from southpaw to orthodox. It's a different game. It's a whole different game. So he's hitting Leonard with shots from different angles and different trajectories. It's very hard to get used to. And honestly, Leonard is having just a brilliant display of how to fight someone like Hagler. He needs to try and keep him off him. Yeah, man, for real though, you really don't want to let someone like Hagler get close to you though. Because slugging it out with Hagler, the switch-hitting beast that knows how to set traps in a southpaw and in an orthodox stance, that might just spark your lights out. So Leonard is doing the right thing here, okay? Leonard's game plan is right. It's winning him the fight. I'm having Leonard up by points. That is because damage isn't getting rewarded. This is boxing, not the UFC. And now off to the next good detail. Here, Leonard teaches us a smart way how to land the backhand over the top. He's using a jab to the body to lower the guard, and then he places the right hand over the top. So using the lead jab to the body to lower the guard, and then shooting the backhand over the top. That's a great setup for the backhand. So that's something you can learn off Leonard. I really want to point out how good Hagler is at switch hitting. So notice his right hand is his rear hand right now, right? It's his backhand. Now he switches lead hand, shoots a gazelle hook with the right hand being his lead hand. Leonard avoids it because he's brilliant at defense. Now he's switching again. It's his backhand now. He's switching again. It's his lead hand again. So he's constantly switching from southpaw to orthodox. That's really impressive. Now, what does it allow him to do? He can shoot those banger lead backhands, or he can switch his stance and he can use that banger lead right hook. That what he just done, and he done it multiple times this fight. Bro, marvelous Marvin Hagler had a crazy, bro. That was a good. He's got a vicious lead hook with both hands, and he would shoot it as a gazelle hook. So he would kind of jump in using his lead hand. So his lead right hand, in his southpaw stance, he would shoot that gazelle hook. He would just surprise his opponent. He would switch from an orthodox stance to a southpaw stance, and then he would just shoot the lead left backhand straight down the pipe, or he would shoot the lead right hook just as a gazelle punch. And I know it's very confusing, but I'm just marvelous Marvin Hagler, man. We can appreciate Crawford. He's doing similar things, just not the same way. It's just there is a big difference between marvelous Marvin Hagler and Terence Crawford. And now off to round 7. I really feel like I'm speaking too much, so I'm just going to focus on the fight. But look at this beautiful lead hook, man. Damn, that's a beautiful lead hook by Leonard. So Hagler will duck under Leonard's rear hand, which is a good thing to do. It's good defense, but then he just couldn't avoid Leonard's lead hook. And that landed flush. Off to the next good detail. Here, Leonard shows you how to counter these body attacks. So he just checks it with a lead hook. Marvelous Marvin Hagler in his that's a beautiful pivot. Let me play that back. Marvelous Marvin Hagler with a southpaw stance. He would just counter. He would just check his southpaw lead hook to the body with his own lead hook to the head, and it hits flush. And that pivot afterwards is just great defensive responsibility. Just hit your opponent and switch the angle. That completely takes away his counterpunch opportunities while you create a new pathway for your offense. That's some high-level stuff by Leonard. Leonard sees Hagler charging up an attack, so he rolls and ducks over his lead leg and shoots a liver shot and a lead hook to the head. That's a good combination. That's the ESPN classic right there. He is shooting a lead body shot and then he chains that with a lead hook to the head. And he would just dip down at the waist, dip down over his lead leg when he sees Hagler charge up a big attack. So that's what he would do to avoid his attack. He would bend at the waist. And from there, he got multiple options. So if he would bend over the rear leg or if he would bend over the lead leg, Leonard just shows you multiple different options, multiple different things that you can do after bending at the waist. That's what Leonard shows you. It's an old school art that is back. Oh, good. Ooh. Look at that nice lead body shot. Pulls his lead shoulder back and fires with a lead liver shot around the guard of Hagler. And Hagler just breathes through it. He doesn't even care. He just keeps coming at you. That's the beast that marvelous Marvin Hagler is. And that was a brilliant body shot by Leonard. And look at how cheeky he is as well. As soon as the referee allows them, he's just shooting a lead right hand, instantly being defensively responsible. Yeah, man, Leonard, bro. Leonard is a special talent. I don't know how rank Leonard. Look at Hagler, man, taunting Leonard. Man, I should really go and analyze Hagler against Hearns next, because that was a all-out war. Now I want to go over something that happens here. Leonard uses the cross guard here. So look at how he catches the uppercut with a rear hand, and then I want to replay that. I don't think people notice this. This is real skill. Let me replay that. So look at Leonard's rear hand here. He has his rear hand below his chin to catch uppercuts, and he uses he raises the elbow there, right? I need to show you that again, because that's a legit defense. That's good skill. Let me replay that clip again. So Leonard utilizes the cross guard defense. He has the arm below his chin to catch uppercuts, and the rear elbow, he raises that to catch hooks. And there he parries a southpaw jab using the lead arm, which is also a very common technique. And now off to round 8 and off to a pistol jab by Hagler. Bow, there it was. There it is again. Damn, that's a good jab. Now off to the next good detail. Leonard slips to the outside and shoots a right hand simultaneously with Hagler's southpaw jab. The only reason that doesn't touch Hagler's chin is because Hagler understands hand positioning, and he has his rear hand covering his chin. He has his rear hand in front of the jaw when he's jabbing to take away these kind of counters. You don't have the rear hand to the side of your face all the time, especially not when jabbing. Look at Leonard's solid chin. Hagler just lands a good uppercut there. He really lands a good uppercut there, and Leonard just has a good chin. So I want to go in detail of why I really show you the uppercut. So Hagler is able to land these kind of shots on the inside. you know, Leonard is landing good shots, but Hagler is landing those bangers. Why? That is because Hagler is approaching you in two different stances, and you need to understand how lethal that is. If you fight someone that is orthodox based, okay, and you're fighting him for a few rounds and you're getting a feel for what angles his punches are coming from on the inside, and then all of a sudden he just switches the stance. The uppercut is coming from a different trajectory. That is lethal. Hagler is very tricky to fight just for that reason alone, let alone just there is many reasons of why Hagler is a tricky opponent. Let's just go on with round 9. I also want to point out that Leonard usually likes to start fights using a lot of lateral movement, right? Just circling his opponents. But against Hagler, he's still doing it. This is round 9. So this is not a point for Leonard trying to figure his opponent out. This is a point that tells you that Leonard does not want to stand and bang with Hagler in the slightest. Look at Hagler's defense. He pulls away from the uppercut. Now he catches the hook with the rear hand. So he just... That combination that Leonard threw, that didn't hit Hagler clean. Hagler defended that properly. Now just look at Leonard's insane boxing ability. He weaves under Hagler's backhand, and now he uses his elbow to catch his hook. And now he just displays more solid defense, avoiding all those shots by bending at the waist, pulling and weaving. And now just look at this combination punching after bending at the waist. So right now Hagler's using head control, and Leonard comes back with a hook to the head, a hook to the body, another hook to the head, and now an uppercut. Now that's some good and fire combination punching right there. And if that tells you anything, then that Hagler had a good tight defense, because those shots didn't even hit Hagler. Hagler just successfully defended against that good combination. After round 10, I want to go over something Hagler does to counter Leonard's jab. So he, in a southpaw stance, uses his lead hand to slap down Leonard's orthodox jab and shoots his own southpaw jab over the top. So usually when fighters in the same stance box each other, they use their rear hand to catch the jab and then shoot the lead jab back. But here against the opposite stance, Hagler likes to down parry with the lead hand and then just shoot back right after. Focus on Hagler in the orthodox stance. He is slipping to the inside of Leonard's jab while simultaneously throwing an overhand over Leonard's jab. Now Leonard has good distance management, that's why it missed him, but that's a good try there. Here you can see Hagler approaching Leonard in the southpaw stance, and Leonard slips to the inside of Hagler's jab and counters it with a right straight. So Leonard slips to his own rear side and shoots a right cross straight down the pipe. Here he tries it again. Even though Hagler didn't, he even changed that up with a lead hook, an uppercut, and another lead hook. Damn, Leonard is really good at putting combinations together and putting counter punches together. Now, after round 11, Leonard does a brilliant job at adapting to Hagler switching stances, but Hagler gets Leonard good at. Leonard shoots a lead hook to the head, and Hagler shoots his rear hook back. Good counter, but now Leonard slips while simultaneously shooting a right hand. So he is slipping Hagler's southpaw jab while shooting a right hand down the pipe simultaneously, and he likes to follow these kind of punches up with lead hooks, which is just that's an old school fundamental way of putting punches together, following the right cross up with a lead hook. Great, works great against the southpaw and the orthodox opponent. Off to the next good detail. See how Leonard feints a jab here. He feints a jab to trigger Hagler's jab, and then he slips to the... He's throwing that slip right hand again. I want to really put, and he follows that with a hook again. So look at that good brilliance, bro. So I want to replay this clip. I'm just going to play it again in super slow motion, just so you see what's really going on. Leonard is using a jab feint to trigger Hagler's jab, and then he's slipping to the outside, throwing a right hand simultaneously, throwing a right hand down the pipe simultaneously with Hagler's southpaw jab. That's how Leonard likes to counter Hagler's southpaw jab. He does this all fight. Now, before we go over to the next round, look at Hagler's hand placement there. So he catches both straight shots with his rear hand covering his face. And then he also catches Leonard's lead hook with his rear glove. I'm just pointing that good hand placement out because some people are obsessed with just keeping the rear glove at the side of your face all the time. Like covering your ear, like you're holding a cell phone or some bullshit like that. You know, bro, like you can make it work. You can have your hand at your waist and you can make it work. It's just the old school fundamental way of having a good hand placement, a good hand. That's what Hagler does there. He has his rear hand covering his jaw, the front of his face. And then it's not like he has to drag it all the way across his body to catch a hook. No, all he has to do is move his right hand a little bit. So Hagler just has, and Leonard does too. So both just have good combination by Leonard. So Leonard tries to get on the inside of Hagler's rear hook with a body shot. There it is. He moves his head, he slides his head away. He still gets caught though. Nonetheless, that's a good try. Then he doubles up the hook with a hook to the body and a hook to the head. And he chains it with a lead hook to the head. That's some good combination punching. So that hook to the body, hook to the head combination, Leonard would do that with the rear and the lead hand. So after round 12, I want to point out Hagler's pistol spring-loaded jab. It looks like he's just literally releasing a spring. So I've never pointed this out. So look at how Hagler just jumps towards Leonard with a jab. It's like a gazelle hook, but he shoots the lead hand straight. And there he does it again. So Leonard likes to parry those kind of jabs instead of countering it. But still, it is working for him against Sugar Ray Leonard all the way up to the 12th round. So this kind of jab basically works like a gazelle hook, right? So when you throw a lead gazelle hook, you push off your rear foot. You push off your rear foot while twisting your hips and pulling your rear shoulder back. And then he does the same body mechanics, but he just shoots a jab. So it's like a gazelle jab by Marvin Hagler. Real good shot, bro. You can really put someone on his ass with a jab. Leonard is really trying to avoid Hagler in the 12th round a lot. And here he done it beautifully. So he sees Hagler gets close and he changes the direction of his lateral movement while turning Hagler. Now he's off the ropes, off the corner. And he can keep using his lateral movement to land punches that aren't really as effective in terms of hurting Hagler, but they still land and the judges see it. And these kind of punches is what won him the fight. So I said that I'm going to score this fight myself, and I will. And I'm just going to keep talking about the scoring now. You see Hagler taunting Leonard a little bit there. Leonard landing some good jabs. He's pulling Hagler's jab and then shooting his own jab off the pull. And both just taunting each other a little bit there. Leonard ended up winning the fight. One judge had it 115 for Leonard. One judge had it 115 for 113 for Leonard. The other judge had it 115 to 113 for Hagler. And the third judge had it 118 to 110 for Leonard, which is just sharing my opinion. I think 118 to 110 for Leonard is fair. I'm joking, man. That's a terrible judgment, bro. That's terrible. 118 to 110 for Leonard is crazy. So when I watched this fight for the first time, I didn't score it. When I watched it like the fourth time or some shit, I scored it again. I had it 115 to 113 for Leonard. And now when I studied this fight for the video, I had it 115 to 113 for Hagler, with Hagler winning round 4 and 5, round 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. So my score is 115 to 113 for Hagler. I've had it the other way around, by the way. I had Leonard winning the fight before as well. And I think it's a close fight. I think this fight isn't a robbery. Is it a controversial win for Leonard? Yes, it is. But it's really to who do you pay more attention to? Do you know what I mean, bro? So if you pay more attention to Leonard, you're most likely going to have him winning. If you pay more attention to Hagler, you're probably going to have Hagler winning. It's just 118 to 110 is fucking ridiculous. That one judge is 118 to 110 for Leonard. That's crazy. All right, bro. That's me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to study Henry Armstrong. I'm spending a lot of time in my own training, working on the old school art of ducking and rolling, bobbing and weaving, and Henry Armstrong was really good at that. Nigel Benn was as well. There is also the guy, Bad Benny Briscoe from Philadelphia. He's also just a beast at that. I just don't have good quality footage of him. So my next video is going to be Salvador Sanchez, Henry Armstrong, or Nigel Benn, one of those three. If you want to vote, you can just go on my community tab and vote for whatever fight you want to see. If you don't want to see either of those three fighters, then you can just let me know in the comments, who do you want to see, bro? I'm down for options, man. Just give me options, let me know what you think of the video. Just, if you want to support me, subscribe, like the video. Bless out, bro. Love.